Hi, my name is Janine Giovanni. I'm a senior fellow at Yale University's Jackson Institute for Global Affairs. I'm a professor of human rights there. And for more than 30 years, I've been a conflict analyst. Basically, I go into war zones and I report. I started my career in the West Bank and Gaza. I then moved on to the Bosnia War, where I lived in Sarajevo during the siege. I then covered most of the wars in Africa in the 1990s, including the Rwandan genocide, Somalia, Zimbabwe, Ivory Coast, Liberia, just about all of them. From there, I went to Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, all of the Arab Spring, and I've been working in Syria since the war began there. I'm the author of 9 books. The last one was called Necessary Searing by the New York Times. It was translated into 30 languages. It was about the war in Syria. I've just finished another book about Christian minorities in the Middle East. I'm going to be teaching a course called 5 Things I've Learned About Moral Injury. Moral injury is something that's very pertinent to all of our lives today. Living through a pandemic, going through a very nasty election, and having a lot of political turmoil in our world recently. Moral injury is basically when something happens that goes against your own personal moral compass. Let's say, for instance, you truly believe that people are good and that they shouldn't lie and that they shouldn't cheat, or that righteousness does prevail. And what happens to you when that doesn't happen? It's less about guilt and shame and more about the consequences of when your own moral perimeter is badly damaged. Some psychiatrists call it a scar on the soul. So, what I'd like to talk to you about, and one of the 5 things I've learned from my many, many years working in more than 18 war zones, is that human beings are tremendously resilient. We're able to rise again above even the most desperate and terrible conditions. So, how can you do that personally if you've lived through the pandemic, great loss, or even something you've witnessed? Perhaps you've been a soldier in combat. Perhaps you're a mother who's had to witness bullying of your child. Perhaps you're someone who just has been aggrieved by what's happened in the United States during the elections over the past 6 months, or the past 4 years, actually. So I do hope you can join me. I'd really love to see you there and have this conversation, which will be longer and more in depth. 5 things about what I've learned about moral injury. Thank you.